I have
Let's
it
hit
all the way up.
start. Let's hit
It
start.
says we're live.
Yeah, it says we're live. Michelle's like, it says we're live. And I'm like, I
Watching
know.
myself.
I love it. So good. Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, my brother is here. Hello, Alejandro.
Alejandro.
Alejandro and
I've
Jessica.
renamed him. I renamed Alejandro.
Oh, what did you
He's the
rename
preacher.
to what?
Preacher.
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 Preacher. And Susan and Hannah and Faye. Hello, everybody. Oh, super excited. Honestly, I'm beyond excited because A, OBS is working a dream. Loving it. B, I finally got to meet face to face my little peanut gallery, Michelle, who sits in our lives and has like the best comments. Honestly, I freaking love it when I see your little picture coming up down the bottom because I'm like, ooh. I'm so good.
Alejandro said Michelle is a myth.
I love it. She's a hot
Th-
mess, though.
Facts. Facts.
She's a hot mess. Look at her
Hot.
sexy thing with those earrings. Love it.
I am actually hot because I'm drinking hot cocoa in honor of Carly, but I don't have actual cacao, so it's just like
Yet.
Swiss Miss.
Yet.
Yeah. And it expired in like 2022, but I'm still drinking.
Look, I'm a big believer unless it's like something fresh that coming out of straight out of a cow. Those use by dates.
Worthless.
Yeah, look, they put so much chemical shit in our stuff this day that it will last. I've got a pretty good stomach that something off the
Yeah,
shelf. I can deal with this. I can deal with this. Jordan's the other,
absolutely.
Jordan's the opposite. Hey, he freaks out. He's like,
It's in the mind.
yeah. But it's so funny because hopefully he's not on here yet because he will jump in and say hi at some point. But there has been times where I'll quickly say it before he gets on if I've had like something like sour cream in particular in the fridge, um, and I see something furry on one side, I'm like, nah, let's just scrape that out and throw it down the sink before he sees it,
Yeah.
and then I'll shove it in the curry or shove it in this whatever because it's already sour. It's already sour.
Look at Alejandro.
And I know, and he's like. He saw me do it one day and he's like, are you trying to kill me? I'm like, dude, we have been married for 25 years and you are not dead yet. Suck it up and just eat
What
what's
do
in
you think
front of
cheese
you.
is? Yeah. We listen
I'm
and
like,
don't judge trend. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Alejandro, I'm all
yes.
over it.
I do. I saw that one. I only have seen one, but I saw one the other day of that We Listen, Don't Judge. And he was saying, it was so funny because the one that I saw, he was saying things like, little things like what I just said about the sour cream and stuff. And she was saying
Uh-huh.
things like, oh, yeah, like I murdered your family. And that were like so far extremes of We Listen and Don't Judge that I was cracking up laughing.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, exactly, Misty. It's sour and curdling for a reason, and we buy it for that. So that was
Mhm.
like I'll do it with things like sour cream and use it in the context of sour. Oh shit, Jordan's looking at me through the door here. Did you hear what I just said?
Yes,
Oh shit.
Yes.
I think I've been caught out.
I hear everything.
Alejandro's, we're listening and I'm judging. Alejandro's reconsidering his visit to Australia now, I think. You might just have to help me in the kitchen so you can see what I'm doing. That's it. That's the rule. If you don't want to know, don't come in the kitchen. If you want to know, you help out. Simple. They're the
I
rules.
love that rule. I love that rule. Just pretend you're vegan for a few days
Yeah.
and
Well,
don't eat the sour
we did
cream.
it for 4 years, so that's so funny. Yeah, bring Melanie. Yeah. She can do all the cooking then, and then we can all
I
just
wonder what she would
sit
say.
back. Yeah, I wonder
That's when
what
it's on clear.
when it's on clearance. I buy so much stuff on clearance. It's unbelievable. I got home yesterday from the shop and Jordan's like, what's for lunch? I said, oh, I just found something on the clearance rack. I'm chucking it in the air. I just shoved it in the air fryer before he could
It's
see.
cheaper.
God,
Yeah.
yeah, it's cheaper. God,
Why
yeah.
would I buy it on for full price when I can buy it on clearance?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. All right. So welcome everybody. Oh, super excited for today. Today is the first of many, many interviews, hopefully to come with our amazing Michelle, who's somewhere on the other side of the world now. She's in Texas, I believe. Is that right? Texas?
Yep.
Yeah, do
Waco,
you notice how
Texas.
every now and again I try to do an accent and it just sounds shit? Like Texas. I don't know if I'm doing it right.
Well, I'm not originally from Texas, so mine is probably not the best one to, I'm a hodgepodge,
You're a
but it's
hodgepodge.
all Southern.
Me too. I'm a hodgepodge. I'm a hodgepodge. Yes,
He's in
Alejandra's in Texas
Texas.
too. So, today is just a casual chat. It's just an interview because I'm really, really passionate. Okay, I'm going to say passionate instead of obsessed, but passionate is a great word to use. I'm passionate, aka obsessed, with hearing from everyday people because I truly believe whether you have done, you know, grad degrees or whether you are the janitor, whether you have overcome
Yes.
massive things in life or just one little thing in life, everybody has a sherry to store, a story to share.
Works with sour cream
Well, it does, yeah. That's the
and
sour
cherry.
cream speaking. Um, and I think that whether you're a teacher here at Insight Timer or not, we've got something that we can inspire and motivate through our journeys. And so I want to be able to interview not just teachers here on Insight Timer. So Alejandra, I'm looking at you. You and Jordan are going to be doing one soon. Um,
That'll be fun.
yeah, we just need to nail down a date. Jordan's like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, I'm just going to throw Jordan under the bus and tell him. And Jordan says to me when I told him the other day, he's like, did you actually ask Alejandro or did you just tell him? And I'm like, well, kind of both.
What did I
But
do to you,
he
Jordan?
said he was down for it. So that's fine. It's a woman thing. Hey, we just tell the men
Yeah,
what to do and they just show up. Hey. So yeah. So
it's
today's
literally
our
my job.
first interview with Michelle. Now, Michelle, you are not currently a teacher on Insight Timer, are you?
I'm almost there. I
Almost
said
there, just
almost, but
almost there. So I'm super excited about chatting with Michelle today. And just a quick, we have Misty in the comments here. And Misty, I'll be interviewing her on
just next.
Tuesday, which is my Tuesday. Just so you know, my Tuesday, which I think is your Monday afternoon, just for most people here. I'm in the future here in Australia. I'm in the future.
Surprise, surprise, the US is in the past. Sorry, I'm sorry, that was political.
Well, it's actually normally the other way. We actually often say there's so much in Australia that we are so behind with other countries. The only thing we're in front of is in time. Everything else, we're behind the we're behind.
The underdogs.
We so super excited. So thank you very much, Michelle, yes, thank you, Misty, 4 p.m. Central Time, which is where Misty is. And Tuesday morning here in Australia. But yes, the thing that I love the most about this app is it converts the time for you. So when you open
Yes.
your own app, I don't have to sit here trying to tell you, what it is for you. Just open your app, go to our event page, and it'll tell you exactly what time it is, which is great because, like, I know I'll often open my app and I go, "Oh, look, Alejandro has scheduled a new live." Oh shit, it's 3 a.m. Nah, sorry, I love you, but not that much. I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. Not happening. But I do love the fact that the app converts it for us, which is great. So let's get started. So, Michelle, how close to being a teacher are you for Insight Timer?
Sorry, I keep coughing. Um, as in, I got an email, I think it was yesterday, that everything is set. They just have to re-review my tracks. They're not the best. Y'all, I can like do recording stuff, but like I don't know how to edit audio.
Yeah.
I can do pictures. So it's not gonna be the best audio quality. So I'm concerned about that. But anyway, so the tracks are in review. If slash when they get approved, then I think I'm there. Like everything else is good.
Look, just FYI, I've been a teacher here for over 3 years and I still have trouble getting my tracks approved. So, you know, my recording booth is in my car in the garage.
Hmm.
I lock myself
Hmm.
in the car in the garage and record it and then go on and use all the free technology
Yep.
I can find to do the editing and then upload it and cross my fingers for the next couple of days to see whether it gets approved. So don't freak out. It's not you. It's all of us. We're all doing it. Like I'm very much, I would rather be live than record something. I'm not the best at recording because I kind of feel like I'm being too scripted. I'd rather be live.
Mhm.
So once you get past that and
Unhinged,
yeah, exactly. Then
the real Carly.
people can really see how crazy I am. Because when you listen to my earlier, I cringe. I absolutely cringe when I go back and listen to my earlier recordings. I'm like, oh my God, seriously, who was that? That sounds ridiculous. I really want to go back
But
and
that
re-record.
means you've grown though, so that's good.
Yeah. Alejandro
In my
started recording
closet.
in the closet.
Go
Yeah,
back in the closet.
so
People don't
sad.
belong in closets.
Yeah, Hannah, nobody talks about how peaceful it is in a not moving cart. Yeah. And Misty has to learn it all too. So, how fantastic. So, give us a bit of a background on who you are, Michelle. Like who you are, what you do. I know you're a yogi person. That's as much as I know. Let's go.
Well, I was born. I'm just kidding. I don't know how detailed you want me to be, but yeah. So I am from the great state of Mississippi in the U.S. If you are not familiar with Mississippi, um, uh, think of like the most stereotypically last place kind of place. Like Alejandra, she's from the South, the deep South. It's like the deep South. Like the I gotta watch myself and not like get into politics and stuff. But like our history is not the best, okay? However, good things do come from Nazareth, as they say in about Jesus. Oprah comes from Mississippi. Elvis was born about an hour and a half from my hometown. BB King, like we got all these cool people. Me, I'm just
I was gonna say, you can add you to that list.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So legends, that's right.
Exactly. All the
And
legends.
so yeah. So let's see. So that's like the surface level. I'll do surface level and then go deeper. How about that?
Okay, let's do that.
So the like scope of my life. So I went to short story, I graduated college in Tennessee, which is north of Mississippi and about as country and backwoods as Mississippi, but in a different way. And mountain people where I was, and beautiful area. And then I 2 gap years after college, moved to Texas. Been in Texas 10 years, and I'm like, why am I still here? Um, so I'm figuring out that piece, but Lord, she's a Southern woman. I'm not really a true Southern belle though, because I I don't fit in that box because
You made
try
your
to
own
tell
box.
me what to do.
Make your own box. Screw that.
That's right. Tell me what to do and I will bust
Do
you in
the
the face.
opposite.
Just kidding, just kidding. Yes, exactly. And so
Hello, Violet.
so that's like the service level. As far as like work and stuff, right now I work my full-time job is working remotely for an RV repair company, which is so random because I have never lived a lot of life in an RV, but long story, but here I am. And my like dream is to turn my yoga teaching slash meditation teaching slash life coaching side biz into like the main biz and do that like full time, whatever full time really means anymore, you know. But basically, I'm a healer and I am here on the planet in this lifetime to heal myself and to heal my lineages, both directions, and then also to help the world heal. And that includes like people, and it also includes Mother Earth, Mama Gaia, because she's hurting. And yeah, that's kind of the
Yeah, I love that too.
nutshell.
I'm like, yeah, girl, like why are all the people that I'm connecting with and resonating with and loving the most, like you and Alejandro and Misty and all these people and Violet, why do you guys live so damn far away? Like, Because you guys sound like my actual people. Like everything you just said is like, yeah, I just love that. I just love that so much.
Yeah. Well, real talk, my guess is that the reason that we're scattered is because sorry, my brain just went into scholar mode for a second, so I'm going to try to bring it back to real life. Basically, it's like if we're all clumped together, the light doesn't get to spread as much, right? So when we're in diaspora, to use a
That's logical, but I'm
term,
talking about like selfish mode. Like
oh yeah, yeah.
selfish
Selfishly,
mode.
it's messed up.
I want that light near me.
I know. I feel you. I feel you. I really do. And I
Alejandro,
guess maybe that's why I have the interwebs. Say lied again.
light.
I can't if you put me on the spot.
Don't worry, they said
Light.
someone said it to was it actually was you the other day that said asked me to repeat a word. I'm
Yeah,
sure
what was that word?
I can't remember.
I did it also. I think I want to say I did it to Melanie as well. Like, say that again.
But I do remember
I
you
love
calling
it.
me out on saying a word. So no, I love that. So what made you get into, so did you have you done yoga your whole life? Or was that something that you ventured into as part of your own healing journey after college? Or like what got you into yoga and meditation and healing work? Like at what point in your life did that start?
That is a great question. And the honest answer is like I could sometimes I get bogged down in details. So if I get too bogged down, just bring it back, Michelle. But while I was in grad school and I went to grad school for my master's of divinity, which is fancy talk for like minister school, and which is also fancy talk for like we studied the Bible. um and where was I going with that? So it's yeah, so minister school is also called seminary in some realms. Um, sorry. So I have these ear things, but my right ear doesn't work. Like I can't hear out of my right ear. So I might as well not plug it in, right? So it's awkwardly hanging. Anyway, so while I was in seminary slash grad school, was at a place in my personal journey, mental health journey, where I was like, I have got to, and I gosh, I could go into all the details, but I won't. I was like, I've got to deal with the demons in my closet because they are totally wrecking my life. And so I finally got to a place in my journey where I could like what I call unpack the boxes. Like I've just been carrying around all this baggage from place to place from childhood. Like I'd never really fully processed my childhood, my upbringing, my trauma, all of it. And so yeah, I got to this place where I could had great support systems, professional, like a great therapist, and great people around me in the friend zone. That sounded weird. Anyway, friend realm, and then and also professionals and whatever. And I was just in a really good, safe place to unpack my boxes and talk to my demons, get them out of the closet. That was scary as hell, literally. And yet it was the best move ever. And so through all of that, so I was hospitalized. I think I've lost the total count, but I think it was at least 5 times in like psychiatric hospitals for uh, just kind of losing my shit as I was processing all my trauma. And I say that now. I'm not ashamed of that. Like, you need help, you get help. Like, your arm is broken, go to the hospital. Your brain is hurting, go to the hospital. Like, get what you need, people. It's okay. And so anyway, so through that and through working with my therapist, who is amazing, she was like, "Hey, go. I'm gonna tell you to go." Yes, Alejandra, yes, it's worth it. She was like, I want you to go to this specific yoga studio in town. And I at that time I didn't really, I'd taken like one or two yoga classes, like, and I didn't know anything. And then she's like, I want you to go to this specific studio and I want you to take this specific class that they offer like a few times a week. And I was like, okay. She's like, your first class is free. I was like, okay. So I went, and it was called Healing Yoga, the class. And I was like, holy shit. And kind of around that time, I was like also dealing with like, what am I going to be when I grow up? Like, I'm in graduate school, but like, what does that mean? Like, what am I doing? And I see your comment, Hannah, and this is my emoji for you. I've started using this one recently. Anyway, uh, yeah. So I had been thinking at around that, like, if you're gonna have an existential crisis, like make it a big one, right? Like question your whole identity, like your whole purpose on the planet at one time. Like, so I'm like processing my past and then trying to figure out my future, and also like having this yoga class that's like be in the present, and I'm like, what? Like that's a lot. And anyway, so I had I kept going after that to this yoga studio, and I they had a karma yoga program where you had to be approved and whatever with an application, and but you basically you get a free membership in exchange for like cleaning the studio, or like start a few hours of like serving the community or the studio. And so I did that.
I love
Thankfully
that.
got approved. Yeah, it was great.
Great
And
idea.
what's that?
It's a great idea.
It is. It's so great. And some
And I've
studios
seen
do it and
I've
some
seen
don't.
restaurants and stuff that do that. Yeah, people go in
Ooh,
and cook and stuff, or cook and clean, or help out in the kitchen for
for
a
your
free
food or
meal.
whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. I've not seen restaurants do that, but I like that. Where was I?
Sorry, I butt in.
No, that's okay. I just lose.
That's my neurospicy. I can't help myself.
I'm the same way, and then I'm like, what was I talking about? I don't even know. I do it all the time. Uh, let's see, where? No, really, where was I?
Karma membership.
Karma yoga. Okay, and so I just basically worked my way up. Like I just hung around all the time because I was like, this yoga shit is awesome. I was like a druggie on yoga. And I was like, I'm gonna try all the classes and all the things. And I over time I became the manager, the studio manager. And then um I was like, I want to become a teacher. I want to share this healing power, this magic, like this thing that like is setting my soul free, because over here I'm working with my therapist, my psychiatrist, my whoever will listen to wall, like whatever. Just kidding, not really. And so, I'm dealing with all of this, and then over here I've got this experience with the yoga studio that has been such a healing place. Like the community was a very healing place, but also the practice of like being in my body, I was like, I don't know what this is.
Mhm.
I lived my life dissociated for 20 whatever years. And so learning to like breathe and be in my body and feel emotion and like be a whole um integrated, or learning to feel what it could possibly be like to like be a whole integrated person. I was like,
Yeah,
then I became
what
addicted.
is this? Who am I?
Yeah,
And when you get that connection within yourself, you just want to share it with the world. And that's why
exactly.
we become teachers of whatever we want to
Exactly.
teach. We teach what we have gone through. They're the best teachers.
100%.
Yeah.
And I've always, like, when I was a kid, I would play school after school. Like I've always been a teacher of some sort. And it's always just whatever I'm learning.
Yeah.
And so those of you who are listening at home, those of you at home, or wherever you are, like, and you're like, I could never be a teacher. Yes, you are a teacher in everything that you do every day.
Everything we go
And
through.
you're the expert of your experience. And if you think you have nothing to teach, or you want to put something on social media but you don't know what,
Do it.
you are it. Like you are the thing. Um, Anywho, so I wanted to teach, and so I did my 200-hour teacher training and loved it. And I'm one of those nerds that like I want if I love something, I want to know everything about it. Like I want to be the walking encyclopedia. I don't think they have those in print anymore, but you know, and so I was like there was no doubt in my mind that I was going to go on and do the 300-hour, and one day I'll probably do my 1,000-hour therapy thing. But yeah, so and then so my fun fact, my 300-hour teacher training was interrupted, one by my teacher moving back home to California, and two by COVID. And so it took me several years to finish my 300-hour for that reason, because we had to learn how to do virtual stuff. And but honestly, that's a great gift that happened, because yoga can be taught virtually.
Yeah. And
Like it's doable.
it's also a really great opportunity to go, well, hang on a second, all this stuff that I'm putting into practice to teach other people, this disrupt in life
Yeah,
is the reason why we go to the mat, isn't it? And so and so the moving of your teacher, the COVID shutdown, and all the world going to shit, it was like the biggest opportunity for us to step up and go, okay, well, we're going to allow this to dictate and control us, or are we going to move through it and go with the flow and adjust and be flexible in a way that still serves us? So, yeah,
100%.
it was another really big teacher for everybody, I think. Some of us, like
Absolutely.
me, when COVID hit, I failed at life spectacularly in the beginning, I'll be honest. Like COVID threw me for such a six, but then I learned from it and I got up and, but yeah, to be able to do something like that in the middle of all that and come through it, fantastic. Yeah.
COVID threw you for a what?
Oh, a six. That's a cricket
A
term.
six? Is that the number six?
Yeah, the number
I'm holding
six.
up five fingers with this.
So so here in Australia, one of our big games is cricket. So if there's any, yeah. So in cricket, when you hit the ball, like in baseball, I think would be probably the same sort of thing. When you hit the ball and it goes out of field, like what do you guys
Yeah,
call that?
not out of bounds. Well, I'm a blank. I played softball for years and years. It's not out of
Baseball.
bounds, but a foul ball,
No,
like
no,
a
no,
foul
not a foul ball, not the foul ball, but when someone hits it and it goes outside
a
of
home run.
home run sort of thing. Yeah. So
Okay,
for us, a six is that they hit the ball and it goes flying out of the field into the grandstands. So a
okay.
six is basically the best hit you can get, but it throws like it's wide. It throws wide. So the saying it threw me for a
Okay.
six means that it was big. It threw me out of bounds. Yeah. I
Never
don't
heard
know.
that
I
one.
don't know if I've explained that right. Hannah, you're an Aussie. Did I explain that right? Any other Aussies on here that can come into this and go, because it's just something we've said our whole life. And I'm like, shit, now I've got to explain it. Far out.
And you've never had to explain it before. Yeah.
No, no. So yeah, that's what it is.
Interesting. So I could say, oh, it threw me for a home run. And
Yeah,
it
there you
probably
go.
wouldn't feel the same, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain
Oh,
cricket.
well, you're no good to me, Hannah, are you? You're supposed to be here supporting your fellow Aussie. Where's Jordan poking his head in my door when I need him? Jordan.
It's all about timing, Jordan.
So yeah, but you explained it well. Okay, cool. At least I explained it pretty well. So I'm dying again. Misty's laughing her head off at us. I can't wait to do her interview next week. It's
I
going to
know.
be absolutely nuts. She's going to
I
be
know. I'm
losing it the
excited.
whole time. So it's going to be great. So yeah, so obviously COVID interrupted, but you finished your 300 hours, obviously.
Yeah, I'm a 500-hour certified instructor.
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
you've got your normal job, let's call it your normal job. Yeah, I've got to
yeah,
do this
yeah.
to survive job.
Right, right.
And you do your yoga and your life coaching and stuff on the side.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right, yeah. So I can do like one-on-one things with people. Like obviously life coaching would be one-on-one, but like I also offer group stuff um from time to time. Like I have a group workshop, right? A 6-week workshop going on right now on meditation. It's called Becoming. Oh, I'm probably not supposed to promote, but anyway, it's called Becoming Peace. And anyway, um, yeah. So I've recently been like trying to get creative with like what just exploring like what works for people. Um, and so somebody said I was on Threads earlier. If y'all are not on Threads, like what are you doing? Because people are so funny and just like engaging, at least in my like on my threads. But if you're not on threads, it's okay. I'm not judging.
I feel
Um,
seen. I feel seen. I'm not on Threads only because I'm so
who has
Gen
time?
X. I'm so Gen X, honestly. I come so late to the party on all these platforms because
Yeah.
it took me years to get into even Insta. Because and now stupid the Book of Faces decide to change everything all the time. And like
Always.
I haven't even I've got TikTok and Snapchat and I still don't even know what to do with them. So
And they're ever changing. Yeah. So who knows?
like, oh my
Yeah.
God. And then when threads come out, I was like, oh, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's in the too hard basket at the moment for me.
That's okay. It was in that basket for me for a long time and like just not even interested. And then I just randomly started getting on it more and I'm like, I don't know, it just kind of blew up. But anyway, so all that to say, somebody posted on threads, I think it was yesterday or something. They were like, what is this season or what is this chapter of your life called? Like, what's the title of this chapter of your life and why? Or something like there was their follow question. And I guess reply, I don't, the different platforms have a different thing, different term, but like retweeted or tweeted back, what, Twitter, whatever. But anyway, I replied and I said, expansion. This season of my or this chapter of my life is called expansion, and it's been hard as hell,
Yeah.
and yet I'm grateful for it.
Mm.
Um, and so I've kind of been coming more and more into this place of like I've wanted my yoga biz to be like my main gig for years, and let's get serious, y'all. Look me in the eyes. What is your biggest fear?
Mm.
You may say failure, and that may be true for you, and that's fine. But a lot of us, myself included, we're afraid of our own power. We're afraid of our own success.
Mm.
We're afraid to succeed because then what? What then what?
Yeah.
And
And
it's
it's that
the same as
whole
the fear of the
unknown.
unknown.
It's the
Yes,
whole unknown, isn't it? Because unknown, and I say this all the time, unknown doesn't always need to be scary and
yes.
life-threatening. No, have you seen the movie Croods? We always laugh because in Croods, Grud, Grud.
Groot.
No, what's his
Is it
name?
Groot?
Grug,
Groot?
Grug. I don't know. Anyway, the caveman dad. He always tells a
Oh, I'm
bedtime.
thinking wrong thing.
Tells a bedtime story about a young cave girl who wants to explore the world, and she stepped outside and died.
Found something
Yeah.
new.
Something new and died. And this is what he does every night. He tells this bedtime story and died. Like it's like literally a 1 second story because new
Mm-hmm.
means dead.
So he wants them to stay in his
And
control.
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Like for us, new our fight or flight kicks in, doesn't it? And we go, no, nah, we'll
Mm-hmm.
just stick with the what we know, even though we don't like it, even though we're not expanding, even though we're not growing, even though we're unhappy as hell.
We're miserable.
We'll see,
Yes.
we will stay here and not change anything because we know it. And this pain and this uncomfortable and this horrible shit that we're dealing with, at least we know it.
Yep.
And it's
100%.
yeah, yeah.
And it's the game we play with ourselves on and on. And I've been playing that game with myself for years now. And finally, I'm just like, this is not working.
Yeah.
There's a quote, and I can never remember who said it, but it's something like, uh, everything changed when the fear of, I'm gonna butcher it, but it's something like the fear of changing or the fear of the unknown was irrelevant because the fear of staying the same was just like the worst.
Yeah.
Something like that. It was much more beautifully worded. But
And that's generally what
yeah,
happens when we have that
Choose your heart.
breakdown, isn't it? So for me anyway,
100%.
my breakdown was my breakthrough. So I don't actually call it a
Yes.
breakdown anymore. I call it my breakthrough because me
Yes.
being an extremist that I am, it's all or nothing. If you're going to do something, you do it spectacularly. That was when
Mm-hmm.
I had my breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
When the fear of staying there like that was just, it wasn't enough anymore.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I will say too, that reminds me of this concept of like depression or any kind of struggle where you feel like you're going downward, where you're being drawn downward or being weighed down. Um and you can get don't don't let me confuse the metaphor there, but sometimes we view that downward pull as like a bad thing. But I was thinking about this last night. I was like, for one thing, um, when you hit rock bottom, sorry, you can't see my hands. When you hit rock bottom, the point is not for you to stay there.
Yeah.
It's not for you to like, I don't know,
Wallow.
bust and not exist anymore. No, it's giving you ground on which to stand. It's giving you a foundation to build your future.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be scary. And I realized too last night, I was thinking, I had a long drive. And also I hit a deer last night with my car, the whole thing. But anyway, so total side note. So but on the way back, I'm driving like a grandma because it's nighttime and there's deer everywhere. And I'm like, I can't hit another one. And so I've got plenty of time to think. And so it occurred to me that when we have this downward uh
Cool.
sense, like it feels like we're pulling, yeah, like we're being pulled downward, it's an inward.
Mhm.
First of all, it's a limb of yoga. Like
Mhm.
it's important. And second of all, it's like what's happening is not bad. It's your roots are growing down deeper so that you can be stronger
Mhm.
up here as the tree. And you can draw more nourishment from deeper into the earth. And it's like you grow deeper into yourself even. And that too is expansion.
Yeah. And
Because
I've
we think of
seen,
expansion as out here,
yeah,
but it can also be downward.
yeah. And I've seen a really amazing quote or a meme or something anyway. And it's pretty much if you think you are buried and you can't see the light, it's not that you're
Yes,
buried, it's that you've been replanted.
yes.
And that's where we have to grow from. And I had a client session a couple of days ago, and was saying, if we don't have that strong foundation, it's like building a house from the roof down. The
Hmm.
house is never going to survive if we don't build that strong foundation within ourselves. And that comes from here. So when you were saying that your word for your era is expansion, mine, if I was to give you a word, mine would be to describe my current era, unapologetically me.
All right, let's go.
And because that
I
was
love
how
that.
I expanded. Mine was expansion. I had I've not that it's a continual thing, don't get me wrong, it's a
Sure.
continual thing, but I had that era of expansion in the beginning, and now I'm unapologetically me.
What does that feel like?
Unapologetically put myself, oh, it is freaking amazing. It is amazing. I don't take things personally. I put myself first. I don't disappoint myself. I will say things to people in a nice and amicable way so that I don't, um, the word really disappoint. I won't disappoint myself. I won't no longer
Mm,
allow people to cross those boundaries. I don't fall into people pleasing. I don't fall into all those things that, you know, stop us from our own growth and our own expansion. So yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it's absolutely amazing. Yeah. I know, and because like that expansion period is really that beginning of our healing journey when we truly take back our power and we are so um unaware, not scared. We're
mm,
actually truly unaware of our own power because we've spent
mm.
a lifetime, and whether that's 21 years or whether that's 50 years, totally putting ourselves aside So coming back into our wholeness, yeah, people really just aren't aware of, what their potential really is. And
100%.
and that's whether you are using that to teach for other people or not, just for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because often we become
Yeah.
teachers, or we become psychologists, or we become therapists or whatever, because we first worked on ourselves.
Yeah. Like, don't be a therapist. Like, I'm not going to pay you if you have not worked on yourself.
Yeah. It's
I,
like I
yeah,
won't take weight loss advice or health advice from someone who's never been
I've
fat,
never been there.
or never had, a bad skin day. I won't take skincare advice from someone who's had flawless skin the whole life. But if you've gone through adult acne and great, I'll listen to you. Sorry, if you haven't personally experienced it, don't try to preach to me when you don't understand what it's like to have been so
100%.
overweight that you had to have your stomach cut out to be able to lose the weight.
Mm-hmm.
So I really struggle. I really struggle in life to get advice from people who have never personally experienced things like that. So, yeah. But anyway, again, we've sidetracked. I love the fact
No,
that you are also we get sidetracked very easy kind of vibe. So
all the
Michelle
time.
sent me a message this morning. We were chatting before we got on, and she's like, "I'm super excited, but just so like I'm a very extroverted person, and I'm an open book. You can ask me anything." I'm like, "Damn, we're gonna get on well."
Yeah. But like, and like, I can talk to a wall all day. Literally, I could. And I can do small talk. I know people hate small talk. I'm so sorry. I love it.
I'm
But
both.
but my small talk is
But you've got to be able
a
to
little bit
be able
deeper.
to do both, because
Yes.
we've got a friend who only ever wants to have super deep, super personal, super like intertwined conversations. And sometimes I'm just not down for that. Sometimes I
That's
just want to be
exhausting.
mindless. Sometimes I just want to talk
Hmm.
about the stupid funny reel that made me laugh for no damn reason.
Yes.
Um, we have to have that balance of both.
Balance. Yeah.
We really
We literally
do.
said at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's the same with reading. Like I love reading. We don't always have to be reading self-help books. They're great.
Hmm.
I've got a whole heap that I've read, but
Hmm.
sometimes we just need to read a mindless serial killer book or a mindless romance book or a fantasy book. Sometimes we just need something for entertainment. We don't always have to be improving ourselves.
Yes.
There's time
Hmm.
for mindless as well as time for mindful.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Don't ask about quantum physics while I'm at a pub.
That's what she did. She wanted to talk quantum physics. Jordan knows exactly what I'm talking about. She wanted to do like fifth dimension stuff while we are having a beer at lunch. I'm like, no, dude, sorry. No, not happening. No,
Read
I got up and walked away and went to because Ella was only little. I got up and walked away, left Jordan at the table with her, and I went and played it with Ella in the kids' room because I'm like, I can't deal with this. I'm out. I'm out.
for Jordan. He said that. Yeah.
Yes,
Know your
know your
audience.
audience.
Exactly.
Read the room.
Yeah. And like if you're getting weird vibes, like pay attention to that. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And wonder why you're single. Is that at me, Jordan?
No, no, no.
I'm
The
just
girl,
kidding.
the lady who
I'm
was
kidding.
like
Yeah,
always
yeah, yeah.
deep. She would go on, no joke, she would go on her first date and want to talk quantum physics and like deep next universe stuff with this random guy that she's just met online on the first date
Yeah.
and wonders why they don't contact her back.
Yeah. I can see I can relate to that though. Like I can be that way too. But while messaging me at the same time.
Oh yeah, she's
Yeah.
awesome. All right, so I've got some questions here in front of me,
Let's go.
which I haven't even looked at. So let's go.
Did
Uh,
you write them or did you just
no, no,
chat
no,
GPT them?
no, no, no. I wrote them. I've wrote
Okay,
them
okay.
for previous interviews, so I don't know if any of them
Oh,
even.
okay.
Um. All right. So
Pick
there's a whole
one.
heap of like. Let's do some deep questions. Let's do some fun, stupid, random, light questions.
Absolutely.
Like, what's
Let's
your favorite
go.
color? What's your favorite color?
In this order, red, orange, yellow, not because of Roy G. Biv. They're truly in that order my
I
favorite
love
colors.
Roy G. Biv. I love Roy G. Biv.
It's so helpful.
It really is. If anybody doesn't know what that means, it's the rainbow, just FYI. Um,
Yeah.
when Ella was a baby, she learned a lot through music. And there's a Roy G. Biv song. I think it's an American song.
Yeah.
And that's how she learned the rainbow. And even to this day, like she's 15 now, even to this day,
Sing it.
I'll be doing something chakra based and I'll be like,
Uh-huh. Me too. Yeah. I'm like, which one? Yeah,
yeah,
go
yeah.
over. And the alphabet, like I have to kind of sing it
Oh,
to
yeah.
remember
I
alphabetization.
was doing a
Whatever.
community event last week. No, not last week's one, the week before's one. And it was I don't know if anybody's been with me when I've done the creative sessions where I've done the A to Z of me. And we wrote the positive description about ourselves for every letter of the alphabet.
I
We got
love that.
we got up to H and I'm like, what's the next letter? Anybody? So I had to quickly write down the alphabet because I'm like, I'm running this class and I don't know the alphabet. Okay, we're up to I.
And you're like in the spotlight kind of, so you can't think. Like I get it.
Oh, we'll be
Sometimes I'm
driving.
teaching a
We'll be
yoga
driving
class
and
and I'm like, what's that body part?
we'll be driving and Jordan will be like, go right. And I'm like,
Which way is right?
that way.
Yeah,
Which
you can do your
yeah, I
L,
know, but like for me, because Ella does that. Ella does that. And then I'm
your
like,
side.
yeah, I'm like, I write with my right hand, so I'll go this way.
Hmm.
It's our
And sometimes
brain stops functioning.
I get it. And sometimes I'll put my blinker on when I'm driving the wrong direction,
Yeah.
or sometimes I'll put it on when I'm going straight. And I'm like, why did I do that?
Mm. I'll be driving and I'll go, did I stop at that light?
Same. Hmm.
I got to remind
Which
myself
is,
when I'm driving.
yes. I think it's just, it's for me, it's like, okay, Michelle, that's a reminder to practice your mindfulness.
Yeah.
Like, where are you? Where did you go? Bring it back.
Jordan's like, I
But
drive with my hand on the handbrake. And he likes to press the imaginary brake on his side of the car.
like the driver's ed brake,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
teacher brake,
Yeah. He's terrible to drive with.
you panicked. Oh, are you talking a stick shift?
Oh no, I don't drive a stick shift. Stuff that. No,
Yeah,
not happening.
I can. Yeah.
No. All right, let's move on. Next question. Let's do a couple of really fun questions. All right, so
Okay.
do you prefer the book or the movie on anything? Like,
This could get really deep.
okay, cool. I like that.
I'll try to keep it shallow-ish. The book or the movie? It's complicated. Can I pick that answer?
Are you sitting
Because
on the
like,
fence? Sitting on the
am
fence.
I what?
Sitting on the
Yes,
fence.
not a comfortable place to sit. But uh yeah, like it depends. Sometimes the book is better and sometimes I prefer the movie
Okay.
because I'm a visual person, and what one thing I love about like having read a book and then seeing the movie version of it is like, when you read and you have the visual in your head as you're reading. And so
Yep.
I like create this whole world and it looks like one kind of way to me. And then I go see the movie and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's how you saw
You know,
it?
do you know
Like,
there's some weird people in the world that don't see that in their head when they're reading? I know.
is that sad?
It
That
is.
makes me sad.
Because like I've had conversations with people, they're like, what do you mean you see the whole detail in your mind? I'm like, don't you?
Imagination. There's my dogs.
Hello. Hello, puppet.
That corner is a little bit messy, so I'm not gonna move it too far. But
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird that some people don't have the visual in their head. But yeah, I love reading because I love the visual in my head. And that's why I like visual
yeah,
meditations as well, because it
yes,
helps me stay in the meditation.
yes.
Mm.
And I don't know if you're familiar with EMDR, the therapy form of therapy.
No.
What does it stand for? I desensitization something something. No, I movement desensitization something. Um,
The very that's
it,
the very technical term, everybody. Rawr.
rah, 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 rah. Yeah. So I don't remember what it stands for, uh, it's a very helpful. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Reprocessing. That's the
Thank you,
Um,
Jessica.
Jessica knows what's up. So anyway, it's been very helpful for me in dealing with my blah, 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 in working toward healing my trauma. And it's very, for me it's very imaginative.
Mm.
Like
I'm gonna check
you
that
just
out.
kind of go
Eye
into the,
movement desensitization. Yeah, I'm gonna check that. I've never heard of it, so yeah.
it's a bilateral thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very intriguing. It's like what, and somebody figured it out. The person that developed it into a thing figured it out like on a walk, like a hike or something.
I
Like
love it
because there
when
was,
just
those
random
bilateral
things.
walks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I the best things come like in the shower, on the toilet, it's whatever. The most
That's my best
chill
be
place.
that's my best thinking place, the shower and the toilet.
Really,
Yeah,
for real.
for real. I've
Yeah.
actually now got a container, a little container of whiteboard markers in my shower so that when I have these thoughts, I write them on the
Brilliant.
tiles
On
and
the
then I
shower.
just on the shower wall, and then I can just rub them off when I'm done. Like if shopping list, for example, I always think of everything I
Yeah.
need on the shopping list in the shower. By the time I've had
Uh-huh.
a shower and got downstairs, I've totally forgotten. So I write it on the
100%.
wall.
Yep.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Rick thinks we're crazy.
But we're
What
good
on
crazy.
earth have I come across here?
And you know what? Thank you because I take that as a compliment.
Absolutely.
It is such a compliment. It is such a compliment.
Sticky notes for the shower.
That's cool too.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I wonder if it's in the TikTok shop.
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
know why I've been so talking about social media today, but anyway,
Well, it's part of our life. Like
it is.
there's a lot of negative around social media. And look, there does
I
have
love it.
the highs and the goods and the bads, you know. But
Yep.
I think when you have your thing set up to be mostly positive, you know, if you know, as
Oh
long as
yeah, you got to curate your feed.
yeah, as long as you audit it and get rid of the shit that doesn't serve you, you know, and then we can utilize it in such a positive way. Um,
100%.
but yeah, that's just, and it's the same with AI. You know, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people. I was having this conversation actually with Violet yesterday. There's a lot of people from, because I follow a lot of artists. Obviously, being a creative person, I follow a lot of artists, and there's a lot of artists and creative people out there that are getting like the shits with AI, going, oh, they're stealing our work,
Yeah.
and it's, you know, I personally love AI art. I think that there is room for everything. There is
Hmm.
room for AI art.
Abundance.
There's room for
Yeah.
handmade art. And as long as you don't stop making your handmade art, it won't stop being relevant.
And you get to choose. Yeah,
Really,
100%.
you know, like I think people just need to get a grip and stop getting so up in arms about certain parts of life moving
Everything.
forward. Yeah, everything. Let's say everything. Yeah. So,
I had to plug my phone in. It gave me the
oh yeah.
20%.
Hey, the
But
battery
now I don't know how
drains
to,
so fast, doesn't it?
because I'm on it all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
get off your phone.
So, what
But
is your favorite season of the year?
fall,
I like that.
no question. And if you think about it, my favorite colors are red, orange, yellow.
There you go. There you go. So
There you
my
got it.
favorite season actually used to be summer, but the summer here now, thanks to, you know, the ever-changing climate, it's gotten so hot and humid, it's disgusting. So I like early
Not
spring.
enjoyable.
Like I like early
Mhm.
spring, but I really like autumn here. See, our autumn, fall, is very different
Mhm.
to yours. We don't get the same sort of color changing as what you guys get. Like it's not all pumpkins and you know, everything's not yellow and orange here, but the weather itself is beautiful. But I really
Mhm.
like late fall, early winter because you can
Yeah.
spend all day out in the sun here without getting
Yep.
burnt.
We should be on TV. We should. I agree.
Well, we're gonna be.
And we kind of are.
Welcome to the channel.
I told you need to have a podcast all out of all of this.
Yeah, I might.
So
Let's
it's
do it.
the next step.
Might start it.
Anyway.
All right.
But talking about seasons,
Yeah.
my birthday is coming up.
Ooh,
My birthday is December 21. Does anybody
happy
run
birthday.
to the comments? Does anybody know what December 21 is?
That's the crossover of the next star sign, isn't it? You gotta
Yes, it is the last. It is. I'm very complex. Yes, Misty got it. Winter solstice.
ah,
But yeah, it is. It's the last day of Sagittarius, and it is the winter solstice. So fun fact, who I am, love and light. That is my thing. That is who I am. Uh, I was born on the longest, darkest night of the year.
Oh,
I realized that a couple years ago, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's good." Like I
yeah.
could, like my
You're like,
soul picked that before
that's
I
why
came.
I'm like I am.
Yeah, literally, literally, yeah,
See, it didn't come
yeah,
to my mind because it's not winter here. It's like hot as hell here. Like,
yeah.
yeah. So at the
Oh,
moment,
it may
it,
not be. Is it not winter solstice in Australia? Like, is that a around? Like, is not that's not the
no,
this? So
it's not.
December 21 isn't anything for y'all.
Maybe we
I don't
have
know how it works.
summer. We see it's not even
Yeah,
Yule
I
for
don't
us.
know.
It's not even Yule for us because it's the wrong season.
Hmm.
Our witches calendar and stuff is opposite to you guys.
Midsummer.
Yeah. Yeah. So our current Christmas theme song is you know
That
that
one you played the other night.
no. Well, the funny one is, to the window, to the wall, to the sweat dripping down. That's what it's like here at the moment because it is hot. It is
I
hot.
just heard that a minute ago. Literally.
So yeah,
That's hilarious.
we I don't think of I forget that it's cold for everybody else in the world, like in other parts of the world anyway, because it's hot here. But that's cool. That's cool that you're a winter solstice baby.
I am.
How amazing.
And yeah, there's a whole lot more I could go into that I'll spare you all right now. But my
That'd be on
birthday is
2.0 episode.
yeah, yeah, part two.
Part two.
Uh, but yeah, being born is an interesting thing
Yeah. I was
for
I
all involved.
was I was three. My mother was in labor with me for 3 days. So I was actually, she went in, yeah, she was, went in to have me on the third and I was born on the sixth.
And we wonder why you're stubborn.
Yeah. And
I'm very stubborn.
look, fast forward 31 years, I went into labor with Ella. Well, not into labor, they induced me twice. I went in to get induced
Really?
on my birthday. So I went in on the 6th and Ella was born on the 8th. So I've got a freaking mini me, haven't I?
Yeah. And is that like
Two
a thing that runs in
Scorpios.
your family?
Two freaking Scorpios, 6th and 8th. Yeah.
One house. What's Jordan's sign?
Aries.
Aries.
Jordan, it's so much fun. Welcome to the land of Australia where we've got two Scorpios, one about to start hitting perimenopause, one that's just started puberty, like her hormones. They all come ripe at the full moon. Oh, it's a fun time.
And then there's Dad. He's just hanging.
Yeah, Dad's just like, okay.
What is? What is?
All right, so let's go for a deeper sort of question, something deeper.
Okay, get serious.
Well, let's get serious. All right. I'm trying to think. So, other than yoga, what would be a go-to grounding technique?
Mm, I love this question because I have a dissociative disorder. So my tendency is dissociating, is the opposite of grounding. So I've learned all kinds of grounding tricks. And I will say that I used to carry, like when I was in the thick of my breakthrough, I carried around this little baggie that it was like a little like a muslin bag, and it like had a little drawstring at the top. And I had like a grounding oil, essential oil blend in there. I had like this velvet ribbon that was reminded me of something from my EMDR safe space, if you know what that is. Um, what else? And I had like there's these little bracelet things that you can like rub up. They like kind of hurt, but
Like
not
a
really hurt. But like
sensory.
yeah. So I had all these like sensory things in my little packet. It was my grounding pack. So but okay, pick one.
So, what would be your go-to right now in your current stage of expansion in today's world,
Yeah.
current Michelle? If you
today.
couldn't get on your yoga mat, what would you do?
Yeah. Breathe. 100%. And even if I was on my yoga mat, that's what it all comes down to, is breathing.
Yeah.
Uh, when we are anxious, when we're on that spiral of worry and angst and whatever, which I'm not judging. I've been there a lot lately.
Yeah.
Uh, and uh, what happens when we're in those places where we're like holding our breath, or we're just taking like these short, like we're breathing into like right here, and our lungs are capable of expanding so much more than we even realize, like our soul. And so, and then there's also this muscle thing called the diaphragm that's like below. You can't see my hands, but it's like below the lungs, and like you can breathe. So like, we can breathe really deeply when we like think about it and let ourselves. So yeah, there are all these pranayama techniques, but if you don't remember those in the moment because you're
Yeah.
dissociated or anxious or whatever, breathe deep.
Yeah.
Like breathe. One of my favorite simple breathing things to teach in my yoga classes is breathe so that your chest rises and then your ribs expand, like they're like imagine like separating, and then your belly blows up like a balloon, and then you hold if you can. If you're pregnant, don't hold, or got hypertension and stuff like that. Then your belly falls, ribs fall, chest falls. So it's this downward, upward, and it sounds fancy, but it's not. It's just breathing deeply,
Mm.
and you do that a few times, several times, however many times you need to. Like,
It's
yeah,
just a little reminder that we're alive, because that's all we need to do. Hey,
yeah,
we need to just remind that we're alive. We're not dying.
real life. Yeah, no matter how get bad it gets out here, we're alive. And breathing deeply reminds me of. It helps me to remember that we're not alive by accident. I don't think. And everybody has their own uh understanding of all of that, but in the yogic teaching, like prana is the life force. And so like basically it's like, and I don't want this to like sound like I don't care about like death or anything, but basically like we have breath because like we're still on the planet breathing because we still have a purpose here. Like we're not done.
Yeah.
And the gods, well, how we want to call it, universe doesn't waste prana.
No.
Wasting prana is like bad, we don't do that. And so if you're breathing, hell yeah, you got a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think you're wasted, you're wrong. And so oh, bye Rick, thanks for
Bye,
joining.
Rick.
Hey, sorry, I'm not paying attention to the comments very well, but
Don't worry, me
yeah,
neither.
so and then going back to the grounding question, another good thing, go outside, get the what
Natural
outside.
prana. Get the natural breath.
Literally. And if you can, like, take your shoes off, take your socks off, whatever, touch the dirt, touch the grass. I
Finger
know
in the
there's like
ground.
a trend. Yeah, there's like a trend right now of like touch grass. I don't know what that means, but literally go touch grass. Like we're made of this. And it can remind you who the F you are and what you're made of. Like, you know, and
Question
and
about the
it's
breath.
so simple.
Yeah. I
Okay,
got
what?
a question about breathing. Okay. So this is going to sound really random, but I can do really long breaths, right? I can
Okay.
expand that rib cage part, not a problem. Now, as a woman from my early years up until probably 8 years ago, I was quite a large person, right? Like I had weight loss surgery and
Yeah.
everything. So I have spent up until that time, and even now I still do it sometimes out of habit. I spent a good 30 years of my life holding my stomach in to make myself feel thinner, right? So whenever
Hmm.
I hear in a meditation or anything like that, breathe in and expand your belly, my body really refuses to let my breath go into my belly. I can expand my chest. I can hold a really long, like 8-second breath. Like I can breathe in for 8 and hold it for 8. Not a problem. Breathe out. And I can expand it to here. So I'm trying not to hold my boobs here, but I can expand my chest. I feel my chest expanding, but I can't feel it going down and extending out my belly. What am I doing wrong? Or what am I missing? Or
I
is it
wouldn't say
doing it and not
wrong.
realizing it?
It sounds to me, and I'm not like a, a prana doctor or whatever. I don't know if that's a thing, but respiratory therapist. I'm not like licensed to do that. It sounds like I'm putting my hand like around my diaphragm, which is like kind of, it's like base of your rib cage, and it goes up and it goes down, right? And I can never remember which, like one is in the on, one's I feel, but it's basically, like you hear people say when you're singing, breathe through diaphragm. I'm also a singer, by the way, a musician. But I forgot to say that in my little intro. But my dog is wanting attention now, so if you hear things, that's her. Um, uh, it sounds to me like it's getting stuck, and that could be a physical thing. It could be an energetic thing. Could be a mental thing. It could, I don't know. But what I would suggest is like what, hello, what is your what is your relationship with your body? And I have not had like weight loss surgery or anything like that, but I like to tell when I talk about like why work with me as a yoga instructor, whatever, part of my thing is like I will never be a Barbie girl. Like
Mm.
I got chunk, like I'm chunk. I like to eat.
Yeah, me too. That's why I had the damn surgery.
Yeah, I like to eat. And 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 I can eat a salad and love it. And I'm still gonna be a chunk. Like I just and so anyway, I am always learning about my relationship with my body. Yoga helps and meditation helps. And um one thing that have you ever done like or heard of like a womb connection meditation?
No.
Excuse me, or any kind of work. So there are some on Insight Timer. I've used them before. And so I did one with a life coach that I had like a year-ish ago. And I was like, whoa, like I had no idea I was so disconnected from my own body, even after years of practicing yoga and meditation. So anyway, so it sounds like you're like you don't have to say it out loud here in front of God and everybody, but I would say reflect on like what is your relationship with your stomach and
Yeah,
you're
not
like,
good.
yeah,
Well,
I'm the same way because
well, to
all
start
of
with,
my
I had
stuff
that.
sits there.
Well, to start with, I had the most traumatic birthing experience on the frickin' planet. So after 2 days of being induced and having every drug pumped into me, my cervix stopped opening. So I had to go
Yeah,
in and have an emergency C-section because Ella had gone into distress. They nearly killed me. They nearly killed Ella. They sliced her out of me after 30 hours of labor. I'd never have another child after that. Like I was just so, and there was a lot of
you're traumatized.
disassociation. Well, there was a lot of disassociation because I had this stage of grief of what I thought I was going to like birthing a child was going to be like. So I lost that, and then
Mm.
I went into like postnatal depression, and then I put on heaps of weight, and so I had my stomach surgery. So then they cut my stomach basically out. So yeah, I probably am really disassociated with that part of my body without even realizing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe I will. I'll
And
look into doing that womb healing and see if I can reconnect that part. Because I've got no problem in, admitting that I'm, so super flawed in some areas. I'm certainly not a perfect meditator. I'm certainly not a perfect healed person. God, nobody is. Um, I do the best with my mind. I've spent so much time healing my mindset that probably haven't spent enough time healing that part. So yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
I can relate, not in the same, like I've never experienced like giving birth or traumatically giving birth, but uh yeah, it sounds like that. There's your trouble, like that old song, you know.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of disconnection with my belly as well. Like I hold a lot of, like if I eat too much chocolate, I hold it, like it all helps there. And so I'll give you two things. One thing that helps me is when I'm breathing or meditating, one hand on heart, one hand on belly.
That's what I do. Yeah.
And what, like on the one hand, that helps you to feel with your hand where you're breathing because you can like feel. But then also, and um, where was my also going? I had it in my head. I don't know. Oh, that's just extra connection. Like that's like connecting and then the other thing I would say is kind of like so part of my healing my trauma journey has included a hell of a lot of journaling and talking with uh my inner child, my various versions of my younger self, what I call iterations of me,
Yeah.
which is like we're I don't know. For me, like I have an inner child and then I have like an inner teenager and on and on.
Yeah.
And so so I journal with like that and just connect, like how would you connect with with your own kid?
Mm.
You would talk to them, you would get down and play Legos or whatever with Barbies, whatever with them. You would do art with them. That's your thing.
Yeah.
So I would say like start working on and just begin with noticing without judgment
Yeah.
what is your current relationship with that, and then you journal with it, and a big thing would be the listening piece.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so
um
funny, hey, because everything you're saying is things that I've done, but I've done it for different parts of my body, but not that
yeah,
part. And
yeah, isn't it
isn't it
crazy?
so crazy to think that
Mhm.
I've journeyed through and reconnected with my 10-year-old self, my 18-year-old self, my 21-year-old self on a emotional filling the void level and all that sort of stuff, but it never occurred to me to also connect to a specific part of my body as well. So I love that.
And have you ever journaled or talked with the Carly? How old were you when Ella was born?
31.
Have you ever done any work with 31-year-old you?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have done
Okay.
work with every age group of myself. But again, I think I focus so much on my mental state and not
Hmm.
on actual different parts of my body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to me, it's just seeing so obvious. Now that you've said it, it seems so obvious, but it just didn't occur to me to actually speak to my womb in a separate
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of like Maya Angelou says, like when you know, what is it? Like
Yeah,
when
when you
you,
know better, you do
if
better.
you, yeah, like if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I was talking about I talked a moment ago about my life coach did a womb healing or womb connection, or I don't know what we called it, thing with me about a year or so ago, and there was this part of it where it was like, what does your womb want to say?
Mm.
And at that time, I had been on, uh, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this. If I'm not, just, I don't know, tell me. But I had been on birth control pills. Um, and I started them because of for hormonal stuff. I know they're not the best. I know. But you do what you do, and
You have to
you
do
do
what
better when you do better.
yeah.
What's that? What'd you say?
You have to do what you need to do at the time.
Yeah, and you have to forgive yourself and like give
Yeah.
yourself permission to like you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so I had come to take them what they call continuously, which means that you don't take that placebo week. You just always
Yeah.
take the actual pill. And so
Yeah.
I didn't have a period for I don't know like 2 years. I was like, this is awesome. I loved it. But then when we did that womb connection and I
Yeah.
listened to what my womb said, she said, I want to bleed. I want to get
Release.
rid.
Yeah, I
I
want to
want
release.
to give life. And I was
Yeah.
like, of course. And it So it's very interesting. So I say that to say like I didn't have no idea.
Yeah.
Like I'm all up in my head. Like I've taken my birth control for my hormones and whatever.
Yeah.
And my body's like,
Mm.
this, that's not the way we want to be,
Yeah.
and so, but uh, yeah, listen, journaling helps me talking, like doing the meditation thing, and just like learning, uh, learning to love our bodies
Yeah.
as a whole.
Mm.
Like I'm learning how good does it feel when your bestie or your loved one like gives you a hug?
Yeah.
And like I'm learning to give myself hugs or like bring hand to heart or like talk tenderly to myself and
You know
my
what I
body,
do?
like, hey body,
You know what I do when
what's
I
that?
hug, when you know what I do when I hug like Ella or Jordan or Michelle, my best friend Michelle, I'll hug them and then they'll go to pull away and I go, I'm not done loving you. And
Yeah.
I'll hug them longer. And
Hmm.
Ella's like, Ella, at first she'll go, and then she'll go to pull away and I go, no, no, not done loving you. She's like, oh, mom.
I can't breathe, mom. Yeah, but maybe you want that too.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because I
And
do
yeah,
do the hand on heart and hand on womb. And that's why I know I can feel
that it's not.
this one coming up. Like I can feel the
Mhm.
expansion up here, but I can't feel the expansion as much down the bottom. Obviously, I can still feel a little bit of movement, but it's not
Sure.
as deep. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Thank you. I feel like, this
Yeah.
has been an amazing. I kind of have forgotten that we're live with other people. There's 148 people watching us, and we've just been having
What's
like
up, y'all?
this deep conversation. But it's been fantastic because I really love that. That's what I want. This is what I want to do these interviews for because I think there'd be somebody sitting there going, "Oh, damn, that's me too." Like who else? Raise your hand. Who else has really just like penny dropped in this last 5-10 minutes of conversation? So yeah, it's the whole point of doing this.
Yeah. Melinda's talking about doing the womb space healing as well.
Mm,
And I'm not the one to speak on this, but I know that things with concerning infertility and wanting to have babies and being like having trouble either getting pregnant or keeping the like what do they like seeing it whatever like having the baby
yeah,
healthy and all that um it it's a big thing in our world today, like uh and so um and I'm not a doctor or whatever, but I like I'm sure if there's 145 people in here, I'm sure there's at least one person that's affected by that. And so shout out to you. One, you're not alone.
yeah,
Two, like I don't know, but I just have this inkling that a lot of us spend a lot of time dissociated from our bodies in general, but especially like from these parts of us that like our wings give life.
yeah.
Like that's freaking amazing. And so it's just and when I did that womb healing with my life coach that I keep talking about, I had never like I just we have been trained
Mhm.
to see our bodies like they are machines
Yeah,
and to see women's bodies like they are only here to reproduce.
yeah,
Okay. And so we are also carrying generations of that trauma in our bodies from great grandmothers, and uh, we get to heal that if we want, and we have the power to do that. And I think as long as we're living disconnected from our bodies in any regard, whether it's womb otherwise,
mm,
like, and you're like, why is my body not working? Did you talk nice to it?
yeah.
I mean,
Bitch,
I'm not saying
bitch
that that's the
work.
magic. Yeah, yeah. Well, and like, okay, here's like a not super deep example. Um, a week or two ago, I really like to have some fresh flowers every now and then, or preferably all the time, but in my home. And so I think it was the week of Thanksgiving. I got some tulips from the grocery store, like nothing fancy. And I put them. I'm pointing over here because that's where my door is to my apartment. And there's like a ledge, and so I like to put some fresh flowers on the ledge. So when you walk in, you just see hello flowers, right? So I had these tulips there, and uh, fun fact: I used to work in a flower shop, so I know this. But fun fact: tulips are one of the few. types of flowers that continue to grow after they've been cut from their like source, like in the earth. So I put them in this in a vase and like had them different heights and like cutesy and whatever. Yes, I can buy myself flowers, Jessica, and I do it all the time. Um, uh, what was the thing? Uh, yeah, and so I just every time I would see them, I would just say, "My gosh, these tulips are gorgeous." And I started like just talking to them like they were like a little, I don't know, person. Like I'm like, you pretty little tulips, like aren't you so gorgeous? And I swear I've never seen like I've seen tulips grow a whole lot, but I've never seen tulips grow that much. And I know that that's kind of like
Have you ever seen the
surface
rice
level
experiment?
sounding, but say again.
Have you ever seen the rice experiment?
Is that the water thing where the molecules like change shape?
No.
What is it?
The rice experiment is very similar. You see, you get 3 jars of, like, so you cook some rice and you put them in a jar,
Okay.
and each jar is labeled differently. One, you pick up the jar and you talk to it nicely,
Yeah.
lovingly. The next jar you talk to mean, you say all the horrible things to it, and then the last jar you totally ignore.
Mm-hmm.
And they grow mold at different rates.
Really?
It is the
I
most
probably have
amazing.
heard that, but not remembering.
It is the most amazing experiment. Yeah. The one that
Yeah.
you talk lovingly to, it is like the slowest, it doesn't turn very fast. The one that you talk meanly to, it just molds straight away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, we did that experiment a couple of years ago as part of my training, and I was really surprised. I was really, really surprised. So yeah, I'm not surprised that those tulips were, yeah.
Yeah. And like it's the same for us and our bodies. And it's the same with like for me, like it's a relationship with anything. Like
Yeah.
I've been working for a while now in my relationship with money
Mm.
and my money mindset and just being like, we are trained and conditioned by society to live as if everything else is property, as if it's like a machine or it's there only for me. It's not like whatever. And even our bodies, like we treat them like machines. Like how much can you produce? How much can you work at the
Yeah, it's
computer or
because
whatever job?
we live in a world where our, what's the word, output is based,
Yes,
like our worth and
productivity,
value
whatever.
is determined
Yes,
by how much we output. That's not the case at all.
absolutely.
It's not the
It's
case
not
at
at
all.
all.
No.
Exactly. Go back to what we were talking about a moment ago about prana is not wasted.
Yeah.
Like the gods, the divine, whomever, the universe, like it's not wasting prana on you. Like if you're alive, you're here for a reason.
And then
Like somebody sees something in you.
if that reason is to have a nap in the afternoon or watch a cheesy
Yes,
Christmas movie, then freaking do it. Like,
do it.
without guilt. This is the other thing.
Yes,
Do it, but do it without guilt. Don't beat
no
yourself up,
judgment.
because some days we just need to get through that day. And that's what our breath is for. It gets us through, because then that breath will nourish us and we'll be in the right mindset because we have surrendered to our own care and our own needs. That when we can, we will be able to have a different output. It still doesn't change
100%.
our worth and still doesn't change our value, but our output is going to be better the next day if we've given ourselves permission to rest and surrender. Yeah.
Yeah, our worth is inherent. It's unchangeable.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm talking to myself right now. Hey Michelle, remember, like, it's like that doesn't change.
Yeah.
And circumstances don't define it, and they're not necessarily define they don't define your worth, and they're not necessarily defined by that makes sense. Like just because you're experiencing something shitty in life does not mean that you are shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, there's always going to be somebody in life that judge us, but no one more so than ourselves.
And
And
whose judgment counts?
yeah, exactly.
Mine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very much, one of my favorite sayings that I've lived by for many years is those who judge don't matter, and those who matter don't judge.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a similar saying. it's like be yourself because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, same kind of concept. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
it's great.
I love it.
I know. I don't know about anybody else. We've now got 156 people here. So hello and welcome. Thanks for coming.
What's
kind of
up?
I've kind of forgotten that you guys are all here because I'm just like totally absorbed with Michelle and loving this. Absolutely loving it. So does anybody have we're almost out of time, but does anybody have any other last sort of questions for Michelle before we kind of like start wrapping it up?
We got purple
What
hearts from Blossom
I
Violet.
know. And I like
That's
see
her
so
thing.
many amazing people down there. I see Mira, I see Siva, I see Faye. There was some people that came in that I didn't get a chance to say hello to. So hello, I have seen you all and I'm very grateful that you are all here. Um, my question for you is if you wish, if you like not wish, but if you had the whole world's attention
Mm.
and they were like listening with bated breath on everything you were saying, and you had the world's attention for like 1 minute, 2 minute, whatever, what would be one thing that you would tell the world or that you would want them to do for themselves? Like, what would be your one piece of big advice for the world?
I would look them in the eye, and if I could, I would call them by name. That would take a while, but I would say, Carly, you are loved, beloved. Be loved, and that's
Oh, mic drop, everybody. I love that.
and I have actually gotten to say that like on a stage in front of people all
Really?
summer long. Yeah,
Love
so
that.
I was camp host. That's a whole story. But I was camp pastor for a kids camp that I had worked for previously. I had been the worship coordinator for 2 summers, and then they were like, "We want you to preach," and I was like, "Me? Like I like?" And where I come from, women are not allowed to preach, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing in my journey. And anyway, and part of one of my sermons, uh, that I preached every single week, all summer, to these little kids was, and I would just look them in the eye, just did just that. You are you are no, it was you are powerful. That's what I said. I said you are powerful. And then I said, I know it because I see it. And I know it because
Mm,
you're here. You're made in the divine image.
wow.
Anyway,
That's
I could
amazing.
get into my preacher mode for days. I told you I could talk to a wall forever.
Yeah, we definitely, I think, need to do a part two. I think we need to do it in Michelle interview part two for sure. Hands up, everybody who wants a part two, because I don't think I don't think I could end this live and know that I've connected enough and sucked out enough information from you. So I reckon we need to do a part two. Let's nail down a day.
You reckon?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I do. Do you?
I
I'm just,
reckon.
I'm just like throwing it out here, like expecting you to go, yeah, yeah, yeah. And in the back of
Yeah,
your
I'm
head,
up for it.
no, I'm not doing this again.
I love to talk.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think it's been amazing. Yeah, and I think I've like only managed to like answer, like ask like three questions. So, oh, here we go. One last question. One last question. What is the spiciest opinion that you have that others usually disagree with?
I feel like something should easily come to mind for this question, and I'm struggling because I got plenty of spicy opinions. Okay, say it again. Say the question again.
So, what is the spiciest opinion that you have that other people usually disagree with?
I'm coming up with anything good. Like
Well, that's for
lost for words is not
part
like me.
two.
But what does come to mind is like there's like especially on dating apps these days, there's like this big debate about does pineapple belong on pizza? And I'm like, I don't freaking care. If you want to have pineapple on your pizza, put it on your pizza. I'm not because I'm allergic.
Yeah,
So it's like I just that's not a good answer. But
it's the best you can come up with on the fly. That's fine.
yeah, some things I just like some things that people feel very polarized, strong about. I'm just like, y'all, it doesn't matter.
But you
It
know
doesn't
what? I
matter.
think that is a great example of where true healing gets us because I would really struggle to answer this question for myself. only because I'm at a point in my journey where I don't get myself worked up about having a difference of opinion to other people because I'm at a point of such expansion that I allow other people to have
Mhm.
their side and my side. Do you know what I mean? So I think that
Yes.
it's really great that you couldn't come up with something because it means that you're so much more open to understanding that there are difference of opinions, different perspectives, different narratives, different people have different colored, rose-colored glasses. That we disagreeing or having a difference of opinion doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing. And I think
Yeah,
it's the
because
true sense of growth.
yeah, because my opinion is not me.
Mm.
And there's this limb of yoga, one of the 8 limbs of yoga that I have struggled with literally my entire life before I even knew what yoga was. And that it is called a parigraha. And that's my southern accent version of it. But it's the non-attaching. We become so attached and we think that what we produce, what we create, what we believe our ideas are,
Yeah.
like we're so attached that oh, if you don't agree with me, then you're like I'm offended because you don't like you're against me as a person. It's like no, I just disagree with your opinion.
Yeah.
It's
And
you
that's
know what I'm
probably
saying? Like it's
why, that's also why some people are so hell bent on not changing.
okay,
Do you know
say
what I mean?
more.
Like if we follow on from that, they're feeling like they're attached to their own thing that makes them who they are, and then they're
Hmm.
like, well, I can't change who I am. I can't
Yeah,
expand. I can't evolve because this is me. Well, no, it's not. And you can wake up tomorrow and have a completely polar opposite opinion. That's called growth.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's a very fixed mindset too. Like fixed mindset keeps you from growth and expansion.
Yeah.
So open it up.
Exactly. Allow everything in. I find in this era of me, I find myself very much like Switzerland. I have opinions, but I'm also open to other people's. I have,
Hmm.
ideas, but it's just my narrative sometimes in that, and that can change depending on my mood, depending on the moon, depending on my cycle. It's going to
All of it.
change all the time, you know?
Hmm.
So I try as best I can to be Switzerland so that I'm allowing myself to go, you know what? Yesterday I thought this, but today I've learned something different and now I think this. And in the
You
process,
could
I
say,
keep
yeah,
myself as
yeah.
Switzerland, not because I'm hedging my bets and not because I won't make a decision, but purely because I'm opening my mind to so much more possibilities.
Like I could be wrong.
Yeah,
There could be a better explanation here,
yeah, yeah.
which is that could lead me down a whole different rabbit trail that I won't let myself go on, but I will name the rabbit trail. I will name it like the little trailhead marker,
Yeah.
catastrophizing.
Oh yeah.
We make these stories up in our minds, and it's like,
Hmm.
what if you're wrong?
Yeah.
Right? Because you usually are
Oh yeah. Yeah. And we get
in
stuck
the
in wallowing,
catastrophe.
don't we? We're wallowing. Oh, but this,
Yeah.
but no. Just no. Just stop. I tell a lot of my clients that if they want to go into that sort of catastrophizing mindset or wallowing and stuff, to set a timer. Put the clock
Hmm.
5 minutes, give yourself permission to scream, yell, cry, wallow, do whatever you want. And as soon as that timer goes off, you put your big girl pants on and you come back into
Move
your
forward.
body, come back into yourself. Because we are still entitled to have those moments because they're real valid
Hmm.
emotions. But just don't
Yeah.
like that hole when you fall down. We just don't stay there. That's the
Hmm.
key. Don't stay there. Shift.
Hmm.
We want to ground and we want to have the foundations of a tree, but in real life, you're not a tree. You can move, you can shift.
Somebody put that on a t-shirt, please. You're not a tree, you can move. And I want to wear it to we have a store called HEB in Texas. It's the go-to grocery store. And I want to put that on. I want to wear it there. You're not a tree, you can move.
You're not a
In other
tree.
words, get out of my way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
And
kidding. Okay. Sidetrack.
sometimes I think even shifting, even if you're shifting from anger into sadness, that's still a shift. And
100%.
then shift again from sadness into the next thing. And eventually
Yeah.
you just learn to continually shift. You learn to continually
Yes.
move through those emotions instead of just staying stuck in one.
That people use the term energy. Emotion is energy in motion, and we're not meant to get stuck,
Yeah.
even in happiness. Like we're not
No.
even always supposed to be stuck in happiness.
No. Because that's just toxic positivity then, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yep.
I try as best I can to keep my energy high for my growth and for my expansion. But I can
Yeah.
tell you, honestly, if I need to have a moment, I'm going to have a moment.
Yeah.
I'm not, if I go to the shop and somebody says to me, you know, oh, how are you? And you go into that instant, oh, yeah, good, thanks. If I'm not good, they're going to know about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to attack them, but I'm going to go, you know what? I'm actually having a shitty day. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend that I'm all great when I'm not, you know, or I'm just
And
having a
if
shitty
they're a
moment.
real, yeah, if they're a real person, and by real, I'm using like the Velveteen Rabbit, the
Yeah.
definition of real, you know what I'm talking about? If they're a real person, they'll appreciate that because what we really long for is connection and
Yeah.
authenticity.
Yeah. We don't want just do you want fries with that kind of
Yeah.
everything? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean by that? Because like
Yeah.
you go to McDonald's
Mechanical.
and you say, I just want some chips or I just want some fries. And they'll go, oh, do you want fries with that? It's like, oh, I've just ordered them. Like, because they're just so used to saying it. It's just,
Uh-huh.
they'll ask
Yeah. No,
again,
yeah.
you know? So it's the same thing. You don't want to just answer all the time off the cuff. Be as authentic as you need to be in that moment
Mhm.
without hurting people's feelings or without being rude or mean.
Yeah.
We can acknowledge if we're having a bad moment, but
Yeah.
also acknowledge that it's a bad moment and not a bad life.
Yes.
And don't wallow in it and milk it.
Or even a bad day.
Yeah,
Like I I don't like the word bad day
yeah.
because like
It's a
that's a
moment.
lot.
It's a
Like,
it's
yeah.
because we can shift
It's,
out of it.
yeah.
Coming back to
And
our breath.
even in the worst. Yeah. And yeah, yeah.
Because we have to
100%.
remind ourselves constantly. I do anyway. I remind everybody constantly. It doesn't matter what sort of shit you've gone through in life. You know, there's people on here. We've got 164 people on here. There's people on here that have gone through probably the worst childhood trauma. They've gone through domestic violence. They've gone to prison. They've gone, you know, through the death of a child or losing a birth. They've gone through unimaginable stuff, right?
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you are still here and you have survived 100% of your worst days because otherwise you wouldn't be sitting here. So it
Hmm.
doesn't matter what you've gone through, you have survived it.
Hmm.
And are you going to use that to fuel your growth or are you going to
Hmm.
use that to stay stuck?
Yep. And here's a tip from my therapist to you all,
Yeah.
is that when like if you when you get into the hard time or moment and you're like again, like, like I'm so tired of everything being hard. Like, first of all, I understand or I relate. Second of all, it it's like my therapist helps me to um find, let's say I need courage for something. She helps me to find like what, like who or what part of you, like where inside of you is courage, because you've been courageous before
Mhm.
in some capacity, all of us, right? And so ask that, aspect of you or that person. Let's say it's your childhood self, so ask your inner child to stand with you in this moment, kind of loaning some courage to you. Like, can you help me
Mhm.
uh, with this? Because I know I've been courageous before, and I need reminding that I can do it again.
Mhm.
And so it's like, I don't know. I hope that helps somebody. But like it's in there, and you can ask yourself, the self you were in that time, to be like, hey, remind me
Well, I think that's
because we block
fantastic.
out the hard stuff.
I think that's fantastic because it's getting it from here. It's getting it from yourself because we do
Yes.
tend, a lot of us tend to fall into that. We'll pick up our phone and we'll send our best friend a message and go, "Hey, I need," and we try to get that courage or that support or that validation from somebody else. But realistically, and that's great. Don't get me wrong, it is great to have support from other people,
And
but
it's needed at times.
and it
Yeah,
is
I got you.
needed. It is needed. But first and foremost, let's get it from ourselves first. And
Within.
then what we get from the others is a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
It's
really
kind of like
love.
love.
Mm.
Yeah. There was a time, it's been a little bit over a year now. I was unexpectedly fired from my full-time job. And like literally I was like, where'd this come from? And strangely, it had not been the first time that like I've been kicked out of yoga studios and fired for the stupidest thing. I'm like, what? Like, so there's this pattern. Okay, so what is the lesson? I don't know, but that's not the point of the story. So about a little over a year ago, it's like I found myself suddenly jobless, and thankfully, I was given a small check to help, severance thing, but um and I was just like, what the hell? What am I doing? And so what came to me was this image of, I don't know what they're called, but they're like the ski sticks. Like when you go skiing, you have the sticks in your hand,
Yeah.
and there's like this round part, and then there's the pole like sticks through, and there's like that sharp point that sticks into the snow. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And so you use them and you dig that sharp point into the snow, and that's what you use to propel you forward, right? I'm not a skier. I've never been skiing, but I think that's how it works. And so it was this image of that. And so I ended up, it was random, it's like around Christmas, and I found this random ski, the weather lacrosse like ornament, and I like put it as my like vision board for the season of life, because I was like, that's what I've got to do. I've got to dig deep
Mm.
into me, into who I have always been. I've always been strong. I've always been resilient. I have always been courageous. I have always been me,
Mm.
badass, powerful me. And I'm digging into that, and I'm using it to propel me forward.
Yeah. You didn't rely
And
on other people to do it for you.
right.
Mm.
And like you said, that's not to say that we are made for community. Okay, we all need each other. And it's kind of the same thing as like no one's coming to save you.
Well, that's the
I'm so
thing. You
sorry to
can
be
get
that
the
bearer of that
support
bad
from
news.
other people, but at the
Yeah,
end of the day, if you don't step up and do the work,
it
you
doesn't
just
work.
you're getting support and advice and all this information from everybody else, and then you're not doing any of the work yourself. What was
The
the point?
band-aid.
I
Yeah.
call those people assholes because they continually ask and ask and ask and ask and then don't do anything.
And they're a bottomless pit. They can ask forever.
Yeah.
Like the whole. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you've still got to do the work yourself.
And y'all, here's the thing. You're worthy
Yeah.
of doing the work. You're worthy of being your most expanded, healed, powerful, stand in your power, take up space self.
Yeah.
Why do you think you're on the planet?
Mm.
It's to take up space, like to be all completely
To be
you.
seen, to be heard, to make noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that it's been like drilled into your head, maybe even beaten into your body, that that's not okay, that's not safe. And it's me too.
Yeah.
And we got to move forward anyway. And we have to expand anyway and take up space anyway, use our voice anyway, because if we don't, what are we here for? And then it's like they say that like if you don't learn your lessons of this lifetime, you'll come back in another lifetime and have to learn the same lesson, like learn it again. And it's like just learn the lesson,
Yeah, Jordan.
you
Jordan's
know?
always like, I'm not doing this shit again. I'm learning my lessons.
Exactly.
I'm not doing
Learn
it
the
again.
lesson. 100%.
Yeah.
And and for those who need to know, if you notice a pattern in your life and you're thinking that you're a victim to it, and it's why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? First of all, it's happening for you. Second of all, get curious
Yeah.
and say, what am I supposed to learn here? Because
And third of
it's
all,
gonna keep coming
yeah, third of
till
all,
you learn
what's
it.
the common factor here? You, because you haven't done
Me.
anything.
And listen, I'm the most stubborn. The universe is like, if you don't shut up, Michelle, and learn your like I'm so
And the
stubborn,
thing
and I'm
is,
like, why is it?
it takes true awareness to notice
Yes.
when the scenario, because sometimes it comes back because we're often like, we'll be halfway through a new situation going, why does this feel familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Before we've realized, oh shit, this is the same thing with a different person in a different way. The same thing's happening. So it
Yep.
comes back in slightly different forms. It's never going to look exactly the same each time until you
Mm-hmm.
start recognizing those patterns.
Mm-hmm. And I would say too that it can be helpful at times to have outside help if you're having trouble seeing. You notice there's a pattern, but you're like, what am I supposed to learn here?
Yeah. A real friend, a real friend doesn't just enable you and go, oh,
Woo!
it's going to be okay. You're so brave and you're so strong. A real friend would go, hey, girlfriend, pull your finger out of your
Open
butt.
your eyes.
You are part of this problem. You need to step up. You need to do, like we do it in a nice way, but a real friend will call you out on your bullshit.
Absolutely. And if
You
they
need to be
don't, you
called,
need to go make some new friends.
you need to be called out. Just let me know because I'll call you out. I don't sugarcoat it. I will call you out. I will make sure that you know that, okay, yeah, it is great. You are brave. You are strong. You are worthy. You are all the things. I will be that friend as well. But I will also go, hang on a second, you were actually in the wrong and you need to pull your finger out. You need to pull your head in and you need to apologize. So yeah, don't come to
Yeah.
me. Don't come to me if you just want to be enabled because that ain't gonna happen. That's not happening. No.
And, when that does happen, at first it can sting, like it can sting.
Yeah.
And true friends and true, faithful guides and, whatever, like, I know it stings and it's still true,
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And I go, look, I always say, look, I say this from a place of love, but you're projecting.
yes.
You're projecting.
Mhm.
That's often what it is. It's a projection. It's a projection of our
Mhm.
own fear. It's a projection of our own guilt or our own shame or our own unhealed shit, you know.
Mhm.
And I'll call people out on it. I'll go, I love you, but this is a projection.
Mhm.
So yeah. Well, we've really gone over time, but anyway. So, oh, Michelle, thank you so much. Honestly, I've loved that we
Thank
had some
you.
light conversations and some deep conversations. And I hope that everybody here has enjoyed it as much as I have because I've kind of forgotten that there was other people here and I feel like I've just been talking with you.
There
So
goes some hearts. They got quiet. I hope we didn't put
they
them to
did. It
sleep.
was almost like the comments were just like the last comment was 18 minutes ago and it's like,
Oh, there goes Misty.
are they still here?
Yeah,
I'm like, are they
Misty's
yeah.
gonna show up for it.
Yeah, Misty's here and super excited because in a couple of days' time we'll be back on with Misty.
With
So
Misty.
I know I'm so excited for that. And I've already Misty and I've already got like a plan of doing more with me and Misty. So I need to plan with you and me and Michelle, and we're going to do more as well. So, but if anybody else is sitting here and gone, you know what, this has been fantastic, and I do have a story that I want to share on my journey, feel free to reach out because that's what I want to do. I want to bring the experiences of everyday people and like every person has a lesson and every person has a journey
Every person.
and an inspiration that they can share. So if you feel like you would like to do something like this, just send me a message, reach out. I want to connect. But I do need to get on and schedule a creative live as well because somebody slammed me the other day and said, what, no creative live this week? Because I didn't have time.
That calls you out.
They did. They called me out like no creative live this week. I'm like, sorry. December's like such a crazy month. So I'm
There's
going
a
to,
lot happening.
there is a lot happening. So I'm going to get on and organize a creative live for hopefully Thursday coming up. So in the meantime, you will see me on Tuesday, my time, Monday for you guys, most of you guys, with Misty. And then next Sunday night, we've got our full moon cacao ceremony where I'll be opening the last envelope. The December envelope will be opened next Sunday. I'm super excited. And then
Mhm.
I'm going to attempt to do a mini retreat day where we might do a couple of videos, ceremony, create our own envelopes together, and do something else just before Christmas. Because I can't do it after Christmas because I'm going on a cruise. So yeah, super excited.
Where are you cruising to?
It's just a local cruise. So it goes from Brisbane out to sea for 2 days and then comes back to Brisbane. So it's only 3 days. But because Ella and her autism, she can't handle being away from home for too long. Like, and we're already pushing her comfort zone limits of making her go on a boat for 3 days. So we said, look, if we do it just a
Poor
small
girl.
one, we do just a small one because the last one we did was like 4 nights, 5 days, and that was too much for her. So I said, look, if we do
Mm.
3 nights, she's like, yeah, okay, I can do that. So yeah,
Take your coping
yeah,
tools.
yeah. So, but it's a bigger boat this time with a lot more like water slides and stuff. So I'm hoping that there's a lot more
Wow.
fun things to do. So yeah, super excited.
So
So
you're saying that, and my brain is like, what? Because it's cold here, but it's not cold
no,
there.
it's going to be hot. We're going to be sweating.
Hot girl summer
Hot girl sun.
in December. So funny.
Christmas in the sun.
Yes, I love it.
Oh, cruises are fantastic. I love it. Thank you,
Take Missy with
Faye.
you. She wants to
Yeah.
go.
All right, so let's wrap it up. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here and being part of this amazing conversation. I can't wait to see you guys all throughout the week. Stay tuned to, if you don't already follow along to the profile so that you get notified of when new lives are listed. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye, friends.
Just hit that.